Welcome back, guys. In this lecture we are going to discuss about the responsive web design. You might have heard this word many times, I think so, like responsive websites, non-responsive websites, etc. So in this video we will be discussing about the differences between responsive website and non-responsive websites and how can we design the websites responsive. So first we'll start with the definition of responsive web design. Responsive web design is an approach to web design that makes web pages render well on a variety of devices and window or screen sizes. If you observe the first line here, responsive web design is an approach, or we can call it as method or procedure to design the websites that makes pages render on the any type of devices. That may be a computer screen, tablet screen, mobile screen, anything. So if you design any website with the help of responsive web design procedure, you can able to render that website on any kind of devices. That may be tablet, mobile screen or computer screen. So this is the main advantage of the responsive web design. So to achieve this responsive web design in our website, there are many ways. You can use the normal CSS flexboxes or you can use the Bootstrap app there, and there are many ways. So the best way is Bootstrap grid system. In the next video we will be discussing about the Bootstrap grid system. First, in this video we should understood what is a responsive web design. So already we have completed the definition. Now let's understand the how this responsive web design looks with a real-time example. So consider you are building an e-commerce web application. So an e-commerce web application will have the first desktop screen. First we are going to design that application on the desktop. So the desktop screen looks like this. First we will have the search bar at the top. If you observe any e-commerce web application, Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, anything, first we will have the search bar to search the items. Bottom of the search bar we will have the products. So in the first row, that means in a complete width we have 4 products: P1, P2, P3, P4. So this is the desktop view. First we will have the search bar, then we will have the product list, and after the product list we will have the footer. So if you design any e-commerce application interface, the computer screen interface looks like this. Suppose if you design the same e-commerce application based on the mobile view, that means mobile screen, that application look like this. This is the mobile screen and the items will be arranged like this. First we will have the search bar as like this, but when you observe these products, every product is occupied the complete width on the mobile screen, but it is not occupied the complete width on the computer screen. It's occupied only 25% of the width. Here you can see 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. So in the computer screen, 4 items arranged in a single row. But when it comes to the mobile screen, only 1 item in the 1 row. This is called as responsiveness. We have to change the interface whenever the screen is changed. So in the computer screen, we have 4 items in a single row. But when it comes to the mobile screen, we have only 1 item. Because if you put all the 4 items in a single row, what about this empty space? Suppose if you put these 4 items up to here, 1 item, so 2 items, 3 items, 4 items. So it will be very stretched. So if your website look like that, no one will buy your product. That's why we have to make the responsive web design. So the website looks different in the desktop screen and the mobile screen, but the code is same. We have to write the same code for desktop view and the mobile view, but the output interface must be different. This is called as responsive web design. Now let's see the real-time example websites with the responsive web design. Let's open Google. Here you can see I have opened Google and I have opened one of the website which is a responsive website. Here it is also one of the e-commerce application. You can see we have 3 items in a row. This is the desktop view. Bottom we have the banner, you can ignore it. As of now we have to concentrate only on the products. So here you can see we have this search bar. At the bottom we have this search bar as we discussed in the example like. So this is the same example, search bar, products list, and at the bottom we have the footer. This is the computer screen. Suppose if you visit the same screen on the mobile view, we can able to see only 1 item in a 1 row. Now I will click on the mobile view. If you minimize this, you can able to see the mobile view. So Here you can see this is the mobile view. You can see here, first we have the search bar as it is, only width is decreased because screen size is decreased. So but we have only one item on the screen. Suppose if I expand these to desktop view, you can able to see 3 items on the screen. If I minimize these to mobile view, we can able to see only one item on the screen. This is called as responsiveness. When the width of the screen is decreased, the interface will also be changed based upon the screen. So when it comes to the mobile view, you can able to see only one product. When it comes to the desktop view, you can able to see 3 products. So in this website only we have one more example for the responsive web design. At the top you can able to see the navbar. In that navbar we have 5 links: home, mobiles, fashion, electronics and login. If you click on any link, it will take to the respective web application. Here you can see this page is all about the mobiles. In this web page also the procedure is same. You can able to see 3 items in a single row when it is in the desktop view or computer view. When you go to the mobile view, you can able to see only one item. So here there is one more example. In the navbar also, you can able to see the complete width in the desktop view. When you minimize, the navbar will be changed to the respective mobile view. Here you can see we got one toggle. If you click on the toggle only, you can able to see the links in the mobile view. But when it comes to the desktop view, the output is different. So whenever you change the width of the screen, that means when you changing the width of the screen, that means we are changing the product not product screen. So whenever you change the mobile screen to computer view, the output will be changed. Computer view to mobile view, the output will be changed. So we are going to achieve these things using the responsive web design. So up to the previous lecture, we have designed all the non-responsive website. So I will show one example of the non-responsive website. When we are learning about the HTML and CSS, we made a project about the Bill Gates Wikipedia. Now I will open that project. Desktop folder name is Bill Gates and the file name is index.html. Not index. Sorry, here the folder name is Bill Gates. I have opened the Bootstrap. Bill Gates. Here you can see we have designed this website while learning the HTML and CSS. So in the desktop view, this website is perfect. We can able to see all the components. And we can scroll down, we can able to see every component in the desktop view. But when you open this website in the mobile view, you cannot see all the components clearly because this is a non-responsive website. We have not designed this website based on the responsive web design approach. This is completely non-responsive website. If you want the proof, you can able to see this website in the mobile view. Here you can see the image is stretched to the right side. You cannot see the complete image. This is because of non-responsiveness. Whenever there is any non-responsiveness in the website, you cannot see the web page clearly in the mobile view. So here we can able to see only half of the image. And here also you can able to see half of the image. So we cannot see the complete website. So this is because of non-responsiveness. From the next video onwards, we are going to design every page with the responsiveness. And we are going to achieve the responsiveness in our website using the Bootstrap. In the next video, we are going to discuss about that. Thank you. Welcome back, guys. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the responsive web designs. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about the Bootstrap grid system. It is one of the procedure to achieve the responsive web design in our applications. So it is one of the important as well as difficult topic in entire Bootstrap. So listen, be careful. Before getting started, first we have to know what is a grid. Grid is a combination of rows and columns. So first we will see row. Here you can see row direction is horizontal. This is called single row. Already you might have knowledge about the rows and columns, but we will have some discussion about the rows and columns. Then only you will understand better. So this horizontal div is called as, here we can call it as div or box. This horizontal box is called as row. In this horizontal box, we can divide this box into number of columns. Here you can see I have divided this row into 4 columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. So this entire space is called as grid system. Grid is nothing but combination of rows and columns. So this is the normal grid system. When it comes to the Bootstrap grid system, every row is having the 12 columns. every row is having 12 columns, and we can assign any HTML element to the 12 columns. Now let's discuss about the Bootstrap grid system practically. Here you can see, consider these horizontal space is called as row. I have divided these row into 12 columns because a Bootstrap row is the combination of 12 columns. First column, second column, third column, fourth column, as like there are 12 columns in the Bootstrap row. So one row is equal to 12 columns. In Bootstrap, you have to know this equation. One row is equal to 12 columns, and we can assign any HTML element to the any column. So in the first column you can assign h1 or paragraph or image, anything. For the second column also it's same, you can assign div or image or paragraph or h1 text or span element or anchor tag, anything. So like this, for 12 columns you can assign the 12 HTML elements. Those HTML elements will be arranged in the horizontal direction like these only. Here we are taking the example purpose as numbers. So when it comes to the real time situation, we will place the HTML elements in these numbers. So consider these boxes as divs. So in a div we can place any number of child elements. So a Bootstrap row is the combination of 12 columns. So in Bootstrap there is no condition that we can divide 12 columns into 12 parts only. We can divide 12 columns into any number of parts. Here for example purpose only, I have divided 12 columns into 12 parts. For one part I have taken one column. So in another scenarios we will be taking the columns like this. Here you can see in the second scenario, I have taken 2 columns for one part. So first column, second column for the first part, second column, third, fourth column for the second part, and 5, 6 for the third part, 7 to 9 for the fourth part, 9 to 10 for the fifth part, 11 to 12 for the 6 parts. We have divided the Bootstrap 12 columns into 6 parts in the HTML. So in the first part we can assign any HTML element. In the second part also we can assign any HTML element. Like this we can place 6 horizontal direction HTML elements in this scenario. In the first scenario we can place 12 HTML elements. In the second scenario we can place only 6 HTML elements because we have assigned 2 columns for one part. That means one HTML element. We have assigned 2 Bootstrap columns for one HTML element. That HTML element may be anything. That may be div, image, paragraph, h1, anchor tag, anything, ul, li, anything. So now we will discuss the third scenario. In the third scenario, we are allocating 3 parts. That means 3 columns to one HTML element. First 3 columns for first HTML element. Second 3 columns for second HTML element. Third 3 columns. That means column 7 to column 9. We are assigning these 3 columns to the third HTML element. And the last 3 columns, the column numbers are 10, 11, 12. We are assigning the last 3 columns to the fourth HTML element. So in this row, we can place only 4 HTML elements. In the first row, we can place 12 HTML elements. In the second row, we can place only 6 HTML elements because we are taking 2 rows for one HTML element. In the third row, we are taking 3 rows for one HTML element. That's why we can arrange only 4 HTML elements. 3 into 4, 12 columns. We cannot take more than 12 columns in a Bootstrap row. This is the rule of Bootstrap. We can take only 12 columns. So now we will discuss the fourth scenario. So in the fourth scenario, we are taking 4 columns for one HTML element. So we are assigning 1 to 4 columns for first element, 4 to 8 columns for second element, and 9 to 12 columns for third element. So we can arrange only 3 elements per row in this scenario because we are assigning 4 columns for one HTML element only. So 1 element, 1 element, 1 element, 3 elements, 4 plus 4 plus 4. 12 columns. We are using 12 columns for just placing the 3 elements only. Now we'll discuss the fifth scenario. In the fifth scenario, we will placing only 2 HTML elements. We are using the entire row for just arranging the 2 HTML elements. Like this is first div, this is second div. For first div, we are utilizing the 6 columns from the Bootstrap row. For the second div, we are utilizing the another 6 columns from the Bootstrap row. Here we have used only 2 divs for 12 columns. And we are discussing the last scenario now. In the last scenario, we are placing only one HTML element. That means we are taking complete width for only one HTML element only. So like this way, we can divide the Bootstrap row into any number of columns to arrange the HTML elements. I know by learning this, we cannot understand the Bootstrap grid system. That's why we will be learning all these things practically. So we are writing the program for dividing the 12 columns, 6 columns, 4 columns, 3 columns, 2 columns, 1 column. We are doing all these things practically. Don't worry if you understand now only. We'll be discussing thoroughly about this topic. So in the next video, we are going to implement these things practically. Thank you. Welcome back. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the Bootstrap grid system introduction. Now, in this video, we are going to implement all the things practically. So first, I will create a new folder in the desktop. Right click on the desktop, click on new. Here I will write the folder name as grid system. Press enter. Now we have to access this grid system folder in the VS Code. Open VS Code. Here we go. I have opened the grid system folder in the VS Code. Now we have to create our first file, which is called as index.html. So in this file only we are going to use the Bootstrap grid system. So before we are using the Bootstrap grid system in this index.html, we have to use Bootstrap link. So you can use the bootstrap.css direct file or you can use the CDN link. I will use the CDN link. You can select any one option. Head, HTML head. In this head first I will write the title. The title is grid system. Control S. So first I will write the body. In this body I will write one h1 tag with our class title. h1 Bootstrap grid system. Control S. Now let's execute this program first. Desktop folder name is grid system and file name is index.html. You can see we got the output Bootstrap grid system. Now we have to copy the Bootstrap CDN link from the official website. Open Bootstrap official website. Here we need to click on the get started and we need to copy this link. So in the head we have to write that link. Control S. So this is the normal way of using Bootstrap in our system, not system, web application. You can use the Bootstrap in our web application using the one more way, which is called as downloading the bootstrap.css file, and we have to paste that file in this grid system folder and we have to link that file in the index.html. So that is somewhat lengthy process. That's why we need to use the CDN link. You can see this is the official Bootstrap website. If you scroll down here, you can see the heading starter template. From the starter template, we have to copy one line which is called as meta tag used for viewport. To get the responsiveness in our website, we have to use this line in our head part. So copy this line. So this is the name is equal meta tag, name is equal to viewport, content is equal to width is equal to device width, initial scale. You have to copy this line and paste it in the head part. Before linking the Bootstrap only, we have to paste that line. So after the title, we have to paste the meta tag. This line is called as meta tag. So without writing this line, we cannot implement the Bootstrap grid system in our applications. This line is mandatory. Control S. So now we will add the Bootstrap row in our application. So first I will write one div. So here I will consider this div as row and I will divide this division into 12 columns because we are going to discuss about the first scenario. In the first scenario we have to divide the div into 12 columns. In the second scenario, we have to divide the div into 6 columns. In the third scenario, 4 columns. In the fourth scenario, 3 columns. In the fifth scenario, 2 columns. In the last scenario, we have to take only complete width for the only one HTML element only. So first I will declare this div as row. So as like our previous lectures in Bootstrap, everything are classes only. So for this grid system also we have to use the classes. So here I will write class is equal to row. So this entire div is one row. Now we have to divide this div into 12 columns. Initially a row is 12 columns. Now we have to assign one HTML element for one column. So I will write div first we have to write class. So in this class we have to write call -1 control S. So this is the row and this is the first part. For first part we have taken only one column. Call -1 indicates we are taking one column for this div. So to check whether it is taken successfully or not, we have to add some text in the column. So I will add div1, or we can write call1. I will write only call1 control S. So for the row I will add the background color, and for the call1 also I will add the background color. To add the background color we have to add the style in this page. So at the head part I will add the style. So first I will click on the view, toggle word wrap, control S. Now we have to add the styling here. Style. First I will add the style for row. Row is a class, that's why we have to write dot row. So for the row I will add the background color as aqua. So for the row the background color is aqua. Let's check the output. Here you can see a row is created and we have created only one column in that row. You can see this is the call1. So for this column also I will add the background color, then you will understand better. So for call1 dot call -1. So for the first column I am going to add the background color as red, control S. Let's check this. Out of these 12 columns we have assigned only one column to the first div. In that first div we have only one text which is called as call1. So this red space is only one column. We have taken one column for one div. Now like this we are going to declare 12 divs with the 12 columns. Copy. First we will take 5 divs, then we will take the remaining. So here I am changing the class names. So call2, here also call2, sorry, here the call3, because this is the third column and this is the fourth column, this is the fifth column. Control S. You can see for one column, for one div we have taken one column. This is the first div. We have taken only one column from the row. This is the second div. So we have taken another one column. This is the third div. We have taken another one column. So for the 5 divisions we have taken 5 columns for the row. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got 5 columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. And there are 7 columns empty now because we have not assigned any HTML elements to this column. Up to now we have used only 5 columns from the entire row. Here these aqua color indicates row, red color indicates column. We have taken almost 5 columns from the row and 7 columns are remaining. That's why we have to take the remaining 7 columns also. So I'll copy the remaining 7. Div. That's it. So up to 5 we have completed. Now 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and at the last 12. Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got complete 12 columns in the one row. Column 1, column 2, column 3, like this 12 columns. So the row is divided into 12 columns. So in every column we have placed one div. This is the first scenario. We have taken one column for one div. Now we will discuss the second scenario. In the second scenario we will be taking two columns for one div. That means we will divide the row into 6 parts. For every part we will be taking two columns. So from here we have to take, this is the first row. You can see now we are ending the first row. After ending the first row I will use one HR tag. HR, let's see this. Here you can see we got one HR tag. This is the HR tag. Now after the HR tag I want to create the second row. Div. First we have to write class and we have to tell the compiler that this is a row. Sorry. I'll close all this. Div. And here I will write class and I will write row. Let's check this. Sorry, there is something wrong. So now we have to add the two columns for one div. So in the first scenario we have taken one column for one div. In the second scenario we will be using two columns for one div. So now I will create the child elements, means columns. Row is the parent, column is the child. Div. So this is the first child. For the first child I am going to allocate two columns from the row. That's why we have to write call2. Here I will write first div, Control S, or we can write call1, call2, call1 to 2. That means column 1, column 2 are allocated to these div. So for the second scenario also we will add some background color to the columns. So that's why we need to write call2. Background color we will write blue. Let's execute this. Here you can see in the second scenario we have taken two columns for one div. That's why we have there is blue background color for two columns. Here you can see if this space was taken in the first scenario there are two columns, but when it comes to the second scenario we have taken only one div for two columns. That's why we have only blue background color for two columns. Now we will be taking another two columns for the second div. So I will create div class call2 and I will write call 3 to 4. Column 3, column 4 are assigning to second div. Here you can see for the second div we are assigning the column 3 and column 4, and like this we will add all these things. So for the third div I will assign call 5 and call 6. Here for the fourth div I am assigning call 7 and call 8. For the fifth div call 9 and call 10. Call means column. And for the last div we are using the last two columns. That means call level and call 12. Let's check this. Here you can see we have divided the second row into 6 parts. Column 1, 2 for the first div, column 3, 4 for the second div, column 5, 6 for the third div, column 7, 8 for the fourth div, columns 9 and 10 for the fifth div, columns 12 and 11 for the sixth div. So this is the second scenario. We are using two columns for one division. That means one HTML element. Now let's discuss the third scenario. Third scenario is also same, but we need to divide the row into 4 parts. That means for one division we have to take 3 columns. So once again I will add one HR tag. So now I will take the third row, class row. So first we need to take div, and for this div we have to write the class as call3. That means we are taking 3 columns for one division. That means one HTML element. I will write call 1, 2, 3 for the first 3 columns, first div. And like this we have to take 4 parts. That means 4 divisions. First division, second division, third division, and fourth division. So for the second division we have to take the columns from 4 to 6. For the third division we have to take the columns from 7 to 9. And for the last division we have to take the columns from 10 to 12. So for these call 3 also I will add one background color. For call 1, that means for the first scenario the columns color is red. For the second scenario the columns color is blue. Now I will be adding the third scenario, call 3. For this scenario I will add the background color as green. Control S. Let's check the output. Here you can see now the row is divided into 4 parts. For the first part we have taken 4 columns. For the second part, not 4 columns, 3 columns. For the second part we have taken the 3 columns, column 4, column 5, column 6. For the third part, that means third division, we have taken 3 columns, 7, 8, 9. For the last div we have taken another 3 columns, call 10, 8, call 10, 11, 12. Now we will move into the fourth scenario. In the fourth scenario we have to divide the row into just 3 parts. That means we have to divide 4 columns for one division. I will add div. For this div I will add class row, and now I will add the child elements. Div, I will write, first I will add the class to this child div, class call 4. So for the first division we are assigning the call 1 to 4. 1 to 4 columns are for the first div, and for the second div we are assigning the 5 to 8. Sorry, 5 to 8. And for the last div we are assigning the columns from 9 to 12. This is call 4. So for the call 4 we will add the background color as, almost we have completed the bright background colors, call 4. I will add the brown background color. So now I will hit the refresh button. After hitting the refresh button we will be able to see the row is divided into 3 parts. Here you can see the row is divided into 3 parts. Here there is no gap between this row and this row because I forgot to add the HR tag. So I will add the HR tag, HR, before the third scenario and fourth scenario. Here you can see, now you can be able to observe the differences. This is the first part, we are taking 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. This is the second part, we are taking 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. And this is the third part, we are taking the 9, 10, 11, 12 columns. Now we will discuss the last but not least, which is called as, sorry, this is not last, we have another 2 scenarios. So we are going to discuss about the fifth scenario. I will place HR. In the fifth scenario we are just dividing the row into just 2 parts, class row. Now I will add the child elements. Here in this row we have only 2 child elements because we are adding 6 columns for one div. Class call 6. So here I will write, we are taking these 6 columns, 1 to 6 columns, call 1 to 6, Control S. Div, here class call 6, call 6 to, not 6, 7 to 12. So for the call 6 also we will add one background color, dot call 6. Here I will add background color. Which background color should I add? Yellow or yellow green. Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see now the row is divided into just two parts. For 1 to 6 columns, first division, 7 to 12 columns, second division. So we have divided the row into just two columns. Now we are left with only one scenario, which is called as last scenario. In the last scenario, we are not dividing the row. We are utilizing all the 12 columns for placing only one HTML element. So now I am placing one HR tag, HR, and here I will write class row, and we are taking 12 columns for only one division. Div class call 12. So the row will not be divided. You can able to see only one background color with one text. So here I will write call 1 to 12. From first column to 12 columns, we are assigning only one div. So now let's execute this. Here you can see we got the div. There is no child elements in this div. Here the row is divided into just 12 columns. The row is not divided. It's taking complete 12 columns for only one HTML element. So this is the brief introduction, practical introduction of the Bootstrap grid system. So if you want to see where the columns are located, you need to add the border color to the columns so you can understand better. So now I will add the black color border for all the columns. So here I will add border as 1px solid black. Control S. I will copy this line for all the columns so you can find the difference between rows and columns. Control S. Here you can see we got all the columns. This is the column 1, column 2, all these borders. We got the rectangular box for all the columns. So we have divided the first row into 12 columns in the first scenario. We have divided the row into 6 columns, not 6 columns, 6 parts. That means we have taken 2 columns for one part. In the third scenario, we have taken 3 columns for one part. That's why the row is divided into 4 parts. And in the fourth scenario, we have divided the row into 4 parts. That means we have taken 4 columns for the one division. That means one part. And in the fifth scenario, we have taken 6 columns for the one part. And in the last scenario, we have not divided that row. We have taken complete 12 columns for only one division. That's why the row is not divided here. In the next video, we are going to discuss about how these columns and rows will be used in the responsiveness. So as of now, we have not discussed any responsiveness topic. We have discussed only grid system. If you minimize this website is not responsive because you cannot see all these things clear. You can see all these are stretched. So in the next video, we are going to see how can we design these type of HTML elements for the mobile view. So this is up to only desktop view. In the desktop view, it's looking good. But when it comes to the mobile view, you cannot find all the things. So in the next video, I will show that. Thank you. Welcome back, guys. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the Bootstrap grid system practically, and we have seen how a row can be divided into number of columns. So we have seen 6 different scenarios. In the first scenario, we have divided the row into 12 parts. So we have taken 1 column for the one part. In the second scenario, we have taken 2 columns for the one part. In the third scenario, we have taken 3 columns. In the fourth scenario, we have taken 4 columns for the one part. In the fifth scenario, we have taken 6 columns for the one part. That means 6 plus 6, 2 parts. We can divide the row into 2 parts by taking the 6 columns into one part. In the last scenario, we have taken 12 columns for only one part. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about how can we make a page responsive using the Bootstrap grid system. So first I will open this grid system folder in the VS Code. So here I will click on the Bootstrap, open folder, We need to select the grid system folder in the desktop. Select folder. Here you can see we have only one file. This file we have created in the last lecture. Now I am going to create the new file in the grid system. I will write the file name as responsive.html. So let's complete the HTML formalities. HTML head. In this head I will write the title. Title is responsive. Control S, and from index.html we have to copy two lines, this meta tag line and the Bootstrap CDN link. So copy, paste it in the responsive.html head part. Here you can see we have copied the two lines. Now I will create body, and in this body I will write one h1 tag. Here I will write the text as responsive grid system. In the previous lecture we have discussed about only grid system. Now we will discuss responsive grid system. Control S. Let's execute this program. Desktop grid system, file name is responsive.html. Here we go, we got the output responsive grid system. Now I will take a div and I will assign the class row for that div. Div class equal to row. So I want to divide these row into two parts. The first part is class call 6, and the second part is also call 6. Sorry, we have to write div class call 6. So in the first part I will write one h1 text. This is first part. In the bracket I will write 1 to 6 columns. In the second h1 second div also I will write this is second part. Here I will write 7 to 12 columns. Column 7 to column 12. Let's execute this. Here you can see we got the output. This is the first div and this is the second div. For the first div we have allocated the first 6 columns, and for the second div we have allocated the second 6 columns. That means 7th column to 12th column. Now I will add some background color to understand better. So I will write style in the head part. So if you want to add background color, you can add it directly here or you can add here. So we will add the inline styling for this div. So I will add the style attribute here. Style background color as, for the first 6 columns I will add blue background color, and for the second 6 columns I will add the background color as red. Control S. Here you can see for the first 6 columns we have added the background color blue. For the second 6 columns we have added the background color red. That means we have divided a single row into 2 parts. For the first row we have allocated 6 columns. For the second row we have allocated the 6 columns. Now I want to get these 6 columns in a complete row in mobile device. So I want the same output in the computer screen only. Here I do not want any change, but I want only first 6 columns in the row in a mobile device. So suppose if I go to the mobile device, here you can see I can see both the first 6 columns and second 6 columns in a single row in a mobile device. I do not want this. I want first 6 columns in a complete row and the second 6 columns in a complete row, because whenever you want to add the any product in these first 6 columns, we can add that in the computer screen and it looks good. But when it comes to the mobile device, we cannot see 2 products side by side in a single row. So of course we can see, but it's not look it doesn't look good. That's why we have to divide these first 6 columns into first row and second 6 columns into second row. How can we do that? So here comes the breakpoint, Bootstrap breakpoint. So to get the responsiveness in the Bootstrap grid system, we have to use the one more topic which is called as breakpoint. To use the breakpoint, we have to know the width of the screens. So afterwards we will discuss all those things. First we need to get this website as responsive. So to make this website responsive, we need to add only one line in our program. That is MD. MD means medium. So in between these call and 6, we need to add one line which is called as hyphen MD. Call MD 6. That means for the medium devices, we are assigning the 6 columns for a row. For the normal devices, that means normal devices means computer screens. Here call MD means medium devices. Medium devices are mobile phones. So for the second device also, not second device, second div also, I will use call MD. So whenever the compiler finds the mobile device, it will allocate 6 columns for the row. If the compiler finds computer, then it will allocate the 12 columns for the row. So now let's execute this. So here you can see this is the computer screen. That's why the computer allocated 12 columns for the row. That's why first 6 columns for the first part, second 6 columns for the second part. You can able to see 2 parts in a single row. But when it comes to the mobile device, means MD, the compiler will split the row into 2 parts. Because in the MD device, a row contains only 6 columns. So now I will go to the mobile view. Here you can see we got the row into just 6 columns only, because we have said the compiler that I want only 6 columns for the mobile device. That means in the mobile device I want to use 6 columns per row. By default in the computer screen, row is equal to 12 columns. But by default in the mobile device, there is no such condition. We have to make the condition. So we made the condition that for the mobile device, I want to use 6 columns per row. That's why we have allocated call MD 6. So after completing the 6 columns, the row will be splitted to the next line. That's why the second division came to the next line. Suppose if you want to give 4 columns also, you can give. So now I will give the 4 columns. I will create one more row. So here I will create row. This is the row. So I will divide these row into 3 parts in the computer view. That means desktop view. So I will write div. In this div I will write call MD 3. So here MD doesn't matter in computer screen or desktop view. MD will only matter in the desktop, not desktop mobile view. Sorry, I'm confusing. So here I will write class call MD 4. That means we are dividing the row into 3 parts. For the first 4 columns, I will write this is first part, H1. This is first part. And here I will write class call MD. That means for the medium devices, we are telling the compiler that 4 columns is equal to 1 row. H1. This is second part. Div class call MD 4. H1. This is third part. Let's execute this. So before executing this, we have to add the background color to the columns. So for the first 4 columns, I will add the background color as. So first we have to add the style attribute. Style background color, I will add brown. For the first part, that means first 4 columns, we are adding the background color as brown. For the second 4 columns, background color blue. For the last 4 columns, background color, I will add crimson. Control S. So between the first row and second row, I will add one HR tag. Then you can able to observe the differences between first row and second row. Here you can see in the first row we have divided the row into two parts in the computer screen. In the second row we have divided the row into three parts in the desktop screen or computer screen. We can call it both. But when it comes to the mobile view, we are telling the compiler that in the first row 6 columns is equal to 1 row. In the second row 4 columns is equal to 1 row. That means we will see every part in this row in a new line in the mobile view. So I will go to the mobile view now. Here you can see we got every part in the new row or new line, because we are telling the compiler that first 6 columns will be first row, second 6 columns will be second row. Here you can see call MD6, call MD6. MD means mobile device, or we can call it as medium. Actually MD means medium, but for the understanding purpose we have to see MD means mobile. And in the second row we have divided the row into 3 parts in the computer screen, but we are not dividing the row in the mobile view. We are just saying the compiler that 1 row is equal to 4 columns in the medium devices. Medium devices means mobile devices. That's why here we need not to split anything. The compiler will automatically split the row into the next row whenever it finds the medium device, means mobile device. Here you can see whenever I increase the width of the screen, it will be converted into computer screen. Here you can see this is the computer screen. That's why the row is having 2 parts in the first row, 3 parts in the second row. When I minimize this, it will be converted to the mobile screen. In the mobile screen, the row is equal to only 6 parts in 6 columns in the first row. Row is equal to 4 columns in the second row. So whenever it finds the mobile screen, every part will be added as a new row. Here you can see this is the medium screen. That's why a row is columns taken completely for a single row. So this is the way to achieve Bootstrap responsiveness in our application. We have to add only one line. This is called as call MD, means columns for the medium devices. So we are telling the compiler that in a row, that means in a medium device, we are assigning 4 columns per row. We should not assign any columns to the computer devices, because in a computer device the compiler will automatically understand that 1 row is equal to 12 columns, but the compiler will not understand how many rows for medium devices. That's why we have to say the compiler that there are 4 columns for 1 row in a medium device. This is the second row. And in the first row, we are telling the compiler that 6 columns per 1 row. So whenever it completes the 6 columns, this div will be placed to the next row, because we cannot place more than 6 columns in a 1 row. So whenever the column is increased, it means whenever it finds the more than 6 columns, the 7th column will be started from the next row. This is called as responsiveness. So while doing the real-time projects, you will understand better. As of now, you have to practice these things for the 6 scenarios. I have explained only 2 scenarios. Here the first scenario is dividing the row into 2 parts. Here the second scenario is dividing the row into 3 parts. So you have to practice the remaining 4 parts. That means dividing the row into 4 parts, 2 parts, 3 parts, etc. Thank you.